tomboy who was really Punjabi, but then kind of had a slight girly aspect to her here and there. The only reason I started Twitch is because I had a uni project to do a charity event, and they were like, oh, do a unique idea. And I was like, I have a PS4. I'm gaming every night. Let's go buy a PS4 camera and stream. At the end of the day, someone's coming to my stream after a long day at work, maybe, or maybe having a stressful like home life. Like, I want to make them laugh and smile. And then I noticed a switch when I started using my TikTok slightly to push my Twitch. More Punjabi started coming through. And then one morning, randomly woke up and recorded the most random TikTok ever. Damn, okay, this could be for me. Because it goes from Punjabi to innocent to just messed up, provocative. And it's just stuff that I want to post. And then now we're on like 50k. Hate on TikTok. The most beautiful keyboard warriors I've ever seen. Just because I'm brown, just because I'm a Sikh, doesn't mean I can't do a trend. That's dumb. I'm not similar to them. I'm different. And I was like, that's fine though.
Welcome back to the KultureKast podcast. Today, my guest is Twitch streamer and TikTok sensation, Amkbhamra. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know whether to say Bhamra or Bhamra. I was like, which one should
I always say Bhamra, but if it's a Punjabi accent, it's Bhamra.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, because I had that before where I had summoned the jawl on and jawl came out, but it was just whatever comes out at the moment comes out. Because in the back of my mind was Joe Hall catering, so I was like, don't say Joe Hall, don't say Joe Hall.
I'm like that when I read last names like at work. I'll be like, right, how do I want to say this one?
Do you want to give away that like, yo, we've got some dissy flex here, or
Exactly,
do you want to keep it professional? Talking about the dissy side of things, obviously you're like Punjabi from a Punjabi background as well, and proudly so repping in all your videos and Twitch and things like that. But let's take it back from your cultural background, your upbringing, all of that jazz.
Right. So it's a weird one because like I say I'm Punjabi, but then certain people are like, well, you're not, because my parents are both born in Kenya.
Okay.
But we are Kenyan Punjabi, so always been like that. I always used to go to the Gurdwara a lot as well as a kid. So I'm even though people don't think it, I am quite religious actually. So it's kind of funny in that sense. Like we speak Punjabi at home. It's just always been who I am. So like I've always been the odd one out. It's like all my friends have always been like very Western and very that. And then there's just me like blasting Jazzy B in the background, like, hi, I'm still here. But no, that's just how it's always been. So like even as a kid, I was exactly the same. Like I was a tomboy, chilling with all the boys. All my friends in primary school were practically the lads. Secondary school, exactly the same, always with the lads. But I was just always a little tomboy who was really Punjabi, but then kind of had a slight girly aspect to her here and there.
Have you got like siblings? Have you got like brothers or something?
Yeah, so I've got one elder sister and that's it.
Oh, an elder sister. I would have, because you said tomboy there, so I thought maybe you've got big brothers or something.
Yeah,
that, like...
exactly. That's what everyone says. They always like, oh wait, do you have brothers? I'm like, no, it's just me and my sister. But for some reason, I ended up being the biggest tomboy ever. Was like as a kid. The only reason I switched slightly was like my mom was like, do you want to put some makeup on while we were going out to like a function? And I was like, sure. And that's where the girly side kicked in. But other than that, it's just like straight tomboy vibes.
I was there's been like obviously some Punjabis from all over the world that I've been speaking to like on this so far, which is mind blowing in itself. Like I didn't think I would. I only started this shit in November, and I'm like I've spoken to people from like there's been an Appanamunda who's from like Guyanese descent.
Damn.
There's obviously Australians. He's from Canada, New York, and things. And then I did speak to an artist also from Kenya. She's actually living in Kenya as well, and it's mad when you think like. Obviously the British Empire was so big and we just got sort of moved around like little pawns on a chessboard, like so all over the place, aren't we?
No, like legit. So like I think with me, for some reason, people have always like, even as a kid, they were like, you're not fully Punjabi, you look mixed. And I'm like, I'm not. My parents are just born in Kenya. And like for some reason people notice that about me. They notice that slight difference. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That is, yeah, it's interesting. Like, to be honest, I didn't notice the difference. But it is weird that people can tell a difference.
See, if you look at my sister, it's hilarious because her hair is so curly and so afro, and it's just like she's definitely a mixed race child, is what it looks like.
That's really interesting because obviously I'm guessing your like parents and like their your grandparents, or there wouldn't be that many generations in Kenya because
No, so off the top of my head, it's maybe one grandparent and both my parents, and that's it.
so in that short amount of space, like and time, like you can still have like evolutionary differences. Oh my
Yeah.
days, that's crazy to think about. This is where like my nerdy side comes out, and I like all of this shit in it. So forgive me because that like I didn't plan any of this conversation, but that's really interesting. When you were going to school and stuff, like where you're from Birmingham, right?
Yes, Birmingham.
So everything's like probably multicultural and all of that jazz.
Yeah, so it was a very multicultural like area. So like for example, in primary school, I was friends with like all the guys, obviously, but like they weren't all Asians. Like there was like the white boys and then like the black boys and like everyone, and I was just chill with everyone. Culture was never like a, oh, you don't talk to this person or you don't talk to that person. Like that's never, and I'm so glad I wasn't raised like that. It was never a thing in my house,
Mhm.
which was really good. It was just a chill with everyone. It's fine. Um, so that was really good. But like, yeah, it was really multicultural. Um, and you'd like learn a lot about other people. So like, obviously me being Punjabi and very, very proud and loud about it, like my friend now randomly speaks Punjabi to my mom and he's not even Punjabi, like he's
Yeah,
Irish
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
white, and it's just like, what the hell. So like, yeah, it's just always been a thing where I've been around other people who aren't always Punjabi but like still embraced myself.
You said that like you were quite loud and proud about it, so I'm guessing that means that other people weren't. So
Yes.
what was like, were you like to the other appane like, come on, like speak Punjabi to me, and they're like, oh no, I want to speak English or something. Like, how does that work?
So yeah, it's like with me, I randomly just flow back and forth in Punjabi and
Yeah,
English.
so
It's just how I do it. It's, I don't know why it just seems easier sometimes, but like I would be standing with like some of my Punjabi friends, for example, and they can't speak Punjabi whatsoever. And I'm like, wait, what? Why don't you know it? And it's kind of like, it's a funny one because like when me, I remember my mom told me this. I went to reception, like obviously at home we always spoke like Punjabi. As soon as I hit reception, it was like the Punjabi went and it was just English. And my mom's friend pointed out, she was like, okay, no, we need to sort this out. So like my mom and sister, like I don't even say my sister's name, I call it Benji. Mom and Benji were fully like, yeah, we're not talking to her if she doesn't respond in Punjabi. So like if I wanted something, I had to say it in Punjabi, and that's how I got back into it. But a lot of my friends didn't have that, where they were like getting told to speak Punjabi or like told to go to the Gurdwara or do Bart and stuff. Like it was just not a thing. And I would just look at it and be like, that's so weird to me. Cause like that's not what I grew up with.
It's really interesting, like when you get out of your bubble sort of thing. So like
Yeah.
when you're up until that point, that's all you know, and
Yeah,
then you sort
exactly.
of get out of your bubble and you're like, oh, I'm being raised differently to maybe more people are being raised like a different
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
You
And
don't
like
understand it.
you don't notice it, I
Hmm.
feel, until like secondary school time. Because I didn't notice it until then, where I was like, actually, in comparison to people who I'm supposed to be similar with, I'm not similar to them. I'm different. And I was like, that's fine though.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like it's you you find that it's like it does happen. So like with me and my brother, he's obviously older than me as well,
Mm.
and he was in a similar situation to that, and I was, but on a lesser so because when I was growing up, it would be if I didn't understand anything in Punjabi, I'd just ask him in
Yeah.
English, and so like my Punjabi was always a bit lesser to his, if that makes sense. Obviously, you
Yeah.
grow up and then you go to India, and then you learn everything. So and then you know all the slang words and get told every swear word underneath the sun when you go shopping on a motorbike with your
Oh,
cousin or
it's beautiful knowing the swears,
whatever.
let's be honest.
Exactly. To be fair, this is something that will come on in a bit because some of these guys on TikTok, yeah, there's this guy called Bijali Apanamunda,
Yeah.
and him on TikTok. Oh my days, I crease it because I think he's actually Pakistani, but he speaks Punjabi,
Mm.
and he's just hammering away 24/7 in Punjabi
I'm not even gonna
swearing.
lie. Aman Nagra was one of the first Punjabi gaming TikTokers I saw, and I fell in love because I was like, the swears though, the
Yeah,
friggin'
yeah,
gala were beautiful.
they hit different. When talking about the culture sort of side of things, and since we're sort of on Twitch now, I know we're
Mm.
jumping around a bit, but there was a moment where you got into like gaming and all these things that we will cover. But there was I seen on, I think it was your Twitter, that you said that you were sort of discouraged from actually
Yeah.
sort of being overtly Punjabi. What was that all about?
So I was never not me on Twitch. When like when older viewers come back, because now I've been officially on Twitch for about a year and a couple months, like fully no break, well, a few breaks for uni though, but like fully doing it properly. In the beginning, I was still me. It was still a version of me. It just didn't have the Punjabi aspect. So I wouldn't sit there and fully have a conversation with the boys in Punjabi. Or if someone Punjabi came in and said, "Are you Punjabi?" I would be like, "Yeah, I am." And that's it. It wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, such a guy." Like, it was never that. And it was more of a case of, it wasn't discouragement. It was kind of like I wouldn't recommend this because I don't think your viewers and your followers will grow with it as quick.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, as someone new, as someone who kind of was more in a different community of Twitch, I got that. It made sense for my brand back then. And it was like, okay, cool, whatever. Now, I kind of just do what I want.
Yeah,
I just do it. So I'm like, if someone comes in and they're Punjabi, I will be screaming in Punjabi. Well, yeah, like that's a major thing. Like I wasn't like out there and like, I'm Punjabi, we're gonna speak Punjabi here. You know what? Even if you don't speak Punjabi, we can teach you it. Like, it was never that. It was more of a, we're just gonna be a bit more tamed in that area, but the rest of me was completely there still.
why did you switch then? Like, what was the sort of, was there a turning point of thinking, oh fuck
So
it,
the
I'm just gonna be me?
switch mainly happened. It wasn't a turning point or an actual switch. It kind of just happened naturally. But what it was obviously I did have, like, for example, Simran. She's followed me for a long time and I followed her for a long time. We haven't gamed until recently, but I knew she was Punjabi, knew it. And then there was another guy and he was Punjabi. Now there was very few of them. So I was like, okay, we're gonna keep it chill, whatever. And then I noticed a switch when I started using my TikTok slightly to push my Twitch. And then more Punjabi started coming through from my Twitter, from my Twitch, or my TikTok, sorry. And I was like, okay, right, I'm just gonna be me fully. What's the worst that can happen? Because in November/October, I was feeling very discouraged by it because I'm a numbers person. It sounds bad, but I am a numbers person at the end of the day. You look at the numbers. If it's not really benefiting you, you need to switch something up. And I was like, okay, the numbers aren't the best. Try it. What's the worst that will happen? And it just did well. It just did well because people connected. They were like, okay, no, she's fully being herself. And even people who aren't Punjabi were like embracing it, and they were like, okay, so tell us more, because we want to learn and we want to know more. And it was kind of really cool and fun to see that.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at the numbers, especially with social media and in general. And that's something that I want to talk about later, because the apps that you're on, or the platform, should I say, are very contrasting in numbers. So it'll be good to have your take on that, especially with Twitch and TikTok. But it is weird. Like, I sort of had that in my mind before starting this podcast as well, because I did want to go down that route, because I was like, I didn't think there was that many South Asian podcasts, and when you start, then you were like, I'm thinking, oh shit, there's actually quite a few.
Yeah.
But going into it, I didn't think there was that many, and so I wanted to sort of highlight sort of people that inspired me and sort of get into contact with them. But at the same time, my best mate's on Love Island a few years ago, and he's a Gora.
Let's go.
And so I was, but like, he's white, but he comes from like quite a unexpected cultural background that the like vast majority of people that will recognize him won't think of. Like, his grandma was born in Portugal, spent majority of her life in Goa and India, and then came over here. So yeah, so like that kind of thing, I was just like, I don't want to just be one thing. I want to sort of like highlight other things. And for me, I'm just interested in general cultures as a whole. Like, I've had like a Caribbean geezer from New York, and his paintings are in galleries with Picasso. I've had like an IBO international heavyweight champion who comes from a half Jamaican and half English household. And I'm like, they're just cool to me. But I feel like when you get into that seek Twitter, seek Instagram, it's very hard to, like, you get trapped in there really quickly, and
you get very quickly trapped in that
yeah,
stuff.
it's mad. Like, obviously my personal Instagram and Twitter and things are so different from my like KultureKast page ones. It's like going into two separate bubbles completely. But on the topic of gaming, when did have you always been into gaming as a kid? Like, you said you were a tomboy? No?
So the first of a technical console I had was a Nintendo Wii that I got when I was like 10. Right after that, I didn't touch a console till about 3 years ago, when I was playing mobile Fortnite and my two friends were like, COD's coming out. We ain't dealing with this. We're getting him a PS4. So for my birthday, my friends got me a PS4. I was like, okay, cool. So I've been gaming technically for 3 years, and that's it. And it's like a damn.
Oh
But I do
shit.
enjoy it. And like it was a 7 days a week for about 6 hours every night. We are on playing COD. I am crying in the first year because I was like, I hate COD. I don't ever want to play this. I'm done. And then I was like, okay, no, I actually love this game.
So what was your first COD 3 years ago? What was that like?
Black Ops 4.
Oh, okay. You
Black
missed
Ops
out
4.
on some good Call of Duties, man. That's when I stopped playing COD.
Black Ops 4 was my first one. And okay, now looking back, I'm like, why the hell did I love this? I loved it because it was my first one. But
Mhm.
I'm obsessed with Modern Warfare, especially Shipment. Like, give me Shipment and I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. That's all I
100%.
want in my day.
They were the good ones. Like I think my first one was Call of Duty 4, so the original
Mm.
Modern Warfare. Remember getting my Xbox 360 back in the day. Was all the boys would jump on after school, you get called a Gil because my voices hadn't dropped yet. It was amazing, amazing times. Reminisce over them days. But I'm surprised at that because obviously, like you said, I spoke to Simran as well,
Mm.
or Shigs, depending on
Depending on how you want to call it, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Simmin/Shigs on Twitch. Do you get that as well? So Am's short for Umrit, I'm guessing, or do
I'm
you
a
is
breathe.
Preet? Okay, yeah,
So
something.
I've gone by Am since secondary because it was like, and breathe is so long.
Yeah,
Let's just go with Am. And it's just so, it feels easier because it's like people don't know that other layer of you almost.
it's sort of like a boundary, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can
it's
keep
kind
you
of like you know me as this,
if
but
someone
like
calls if someone
a
calls
lot
you
of,
Preet, it'll be like, oh, they're a real one.
oh no, no, no. See, like even all my friends, they're like, the only people who now call me and breathe are family. And it
Mm,
sounds so weird sometimes. I'm like, wait, that's my name. How am I not used to it anymore?
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. But what I was saying there was with Simran, obviously she was like growing up playing like obviously
Mm,
games and stuff, and then you sort of came into it later life.
yeah.
When did sort of the thought of like Twitch and things come into it?
So that's a funny one. The only reason I started Twitch is because I had a uni project and we had to do a charity event and it was raising money for them. And they were like, oh, do a unique idea. And I was like, I have a PS4. I'm gaming every night. Let's go buy a PS4 camera and stream. So officially, when people are like, oh, when did you start from 0 followers? It was actually like October, November 2019 that I started streaming. And I did it for, I'm going to say October, November, and the first part of December, stopped because of uni. And then I picked streaming back up in summer last year. So basically my friend was really into like streaming and I was like, he's doing it, I might as well do it as well. I've got all the things I need for it. So it's just basically doing that. But then
So
I think I broke off and did my own thing and enjoyed it a lot more.
was that initial thing for like I'm guessing like a charity stream or something that you had to do for uni, and then
Yeah.
you got busy with uni and things, and then came back, and obviously we're in lockdown at that point as well, so it goes hand in hand, and I think that's when like a lot of people did jump on Twitch a
Mm-hmm.
bit more and stuff, and that whole sort of industry I guess you could call it did start booming off a bit more. Is it still just Call of Duty that you play? Do you mess around with any other games?
So I want to start messing around with other games. I've noticed Call of Duty just does better. So I actually started my affiliate grind on Assassin's Creed. I didn't start it on COD. So I
Mhm.
went from Assassin's Creed, played that for like a solid while, got my affiliate, played that still. And then I was like, everyone's back on playing COD, everyone's enjoying COD again. Let's just go back to COD. And then just went back on it. But the thing is, I didn't grind COD last year whatsoever. So my guns weren't leveled up like that. I was still running the same weapons. I still practically was running the same weapons for a couple of months this year. So it was kind of like we'll do it, but like I'm not gonna be gaming every single night of the week. It's just gonna be on streams.
Yeah, it must be hard, like if when you sort of do it full time as well, to actually like enjoy it as like playing a game. Like obviously, I can jump on and I'm just having fun. There's no one looking at me or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I can do and say whatever I want. There's no pressure, and you can actually enjoy the game for what it is. But when you're actually streaming, then is there a clear difference? Do you still play off stream for your own fun?
still play off stream for my own fun. I am obsessed. Like the thing is, I'm obsessed with COD and like other games. So like, if I really want to chill, I will throw on Assassin's Creed or I'll go into training on Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
But I am on COD a lot more. So like yesterday, for example, I jumped onto multiplayer after I jumped onto Rebirth. I was just sweating it off. And I still do that because COD, I think it is maybe because when I first started playing COD, I was playing a solid 5 to 6 hours every night. And I've done that for like 2 years straight that I'm like, I can still do that to this day. Like, I'm like, I can play a stupid amount of COD and it will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like after my 24-hour stream, I only played 24 hours of COD. All my friends are like, this is like the worst idea ever. And I still wasn't fed up of COD at the end of it.
Okay, 24-hour stream. How does that work in terms of food and when the food
Okay.
has to leave and them kind of things? Do you know what I mean?
See, I'm really lucky. I'm very lucky in this department. My mom and sister will just come up. They will sneak behind my backdrop and just put the plate there and go. So what happened was I started at 7 p.m. Like by 8 p.m. my mom had given me food. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. I'd like got my own water, my G Fuel and whatever. And I had a bag of snacks on the floor. By 3 a.m., all I was doing was drinking a lot of caffeine, and that's all I wanted was caffeine. And then like I was given breakfast and then lunch, and then I was like, okay, we're done. At the end of it, I ate roti and just went to bed. I was like, I can't physically
So do you
function.
just eat on stream?
Yeah. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are like, oh, we'll do a be right back. I always used to have this issue where I didn't enjoy eating in front of people. I hated it. But my stream is so used to me just getting given my food and me just sitting there eating while playing, or when I'm dead, that they're like, yeah, it's fine. It's just
See,
her.
I'd probably be the former of like, I'd probably feel a bit uncomfortable eating on
I
stream. I eat
used
like a
to
pig.
see, I eat like a pig. No, I eat like a pig most of the time, let's be honest. 'Cause I love my food. I don't care anymore. I'm just like, they my stream has seen me moody, annoyed, happy, high on caffeine, which is really bad. Like I was jittering and they were like, you need to stop streaming. And they've just seen me pig out on food. At this point, they're family. Like it's weird, but my stream is family. So it's like, it's fine if they see this.
Most of the time, it is them sort of extreme emotions that do the best on like things like Twitch and
Yeah.
on online in general. When there was a question that I asked Simran that I actually want to get your take on when we're going back to the sort of gaming,
Mhm.
which was and it's a bit of a fun question. It's not really like serious or anything,
Okay.
but obviously like, do you watch Mortal Kombat movie came out recently? It's really fucking good. Yeah, I think when that podcast was announced, I think that when that podcast we were recording it, the
Mm.
trailer was announced. By the time it released, the movie was fucking out. It was a long leeway in between. But have you watched any like movies that are based on video games?
Assassin's Creed movie. I loved it, and I'm so sad that they're not coming out with a part 2. I was like,
That is one of
so
the examples I gave you in the
mad.
podcast. It's an amazing one. Would you say that is your favorite? Like,
That's so. Does like Marvel and DC count? Because like I'm a
no, because
massive.
they're not video games. I would say like something based on something that was originally a video game that someone has turned
Okay,
into
so
a
the
movie.
only one I've watched is Assassin's Creed, and I was obsessed with that movie because I was like, I want to be an assassin, is what I learned after that movie. Like it sounds so childish, but I really frigging love Assassin's Creed, and I've noticed it's like Origins that I love the most because I've always been into Egyptian history. Like I'm obsessed with it. So Origins just hits different for me, and then the movie, I was like, oh, why is there not a part 2?
Oh yeah, I still wish they would do. They probably will eventually. If you could turn any other game into a movie, I would say other than like a shooting game, because that's just like any
Yeah,
any
yeah.
any action movie,
What
like a story-based
game?
game. What would you do?
I feel like, hmm. Now I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, damn, what would I turn into a frigging movie? I don't know why the first thing I thought was Rocket League. I
That
don't know
would be
how that
cool.
would work. I don't know how that would work. But it's because the concept of Rocket League is kind of cool. You're in a car, but you're playing football, kind of.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
really, but you kind of are. It's a different concept. I feel like it could hit if it was made right.
It could, yeah, like if you like actually create a character and he's
But
like
you
going
wouldn't,
into a tournament or
yeah,
whatever.
it couldn't be childish. That's the thing. If they made a
Yeah.
game of that, no, a movie of that, like straight off what I think is like buff built characters. It basically just turned into like
You know what I
a
think
war.
of that is Spy Kids 3D. I'm going back a few years, but like they get
That
into the
would be
video
so
game
sick, wouldn't
in
it?
like a Rocket League version.
I
If
love
that
Spy
ends up
Kids.
happening, we need royalties. Yeah, all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like we need a cut of that because that's a banging. No.
Uh,
Spy Kids was a banging movie.
they were they
Spy
were
Kids
they
in
were
Rocket League would
goated.
hit different.
I always say, but because the reason I thought of this question is because I want God of War to be turned into a movie, because that would be,
Okay, yeah.
and like seeing like The Rock as Kratos would be top tier. Do you know what I mean? That would be a
That's a
banging.
good idea, you
I
know.
know, right? So fucking, if that comes true, yeah, I don't even need royalties. Just fucking make
Just
it.
do
You
it.
know?
Just please do it for us.
That's it. That's it. Being like a female gamer,
Yes.
being a female Punjabi gamer, but more so the female. If you go into public lobbies,
Yes.
do you get any backlash or anything? Do you get any little like sly comments or?
I personally haven't, but the thing is, because I've been streaming and okay, so when I used to game like 2 years ago, it was always the same people. I didn't need to go into public lobbies like that. Now, since I've been streaming, I disable my public chat. The only time I put it on is if it's like like let's say at night I'm gaming alone playing Rebirth or something, and I'm like, okay, I really need to give call outs. I haven't faced any backlash yet, which I'm really lucky for. But I know like a friend of mine, Saskia Cole, she's a streamer. She's like on the road to 9 or 10K now. She's actually quite like good at it. She gets a lot of backlash, which is horrible. The only time I've ever felt like really this is happening in my chat is the other week. Someone came into my chat. He went from my friend's chat to my chat because we were both streaming at the same time. And he was like, oh, you're a girl. Oh, da da da. And then he was trying to hit on me or like trying to get my snap or something. And I was just like, you need to chill. And then fully started ripping into me because I said, can you please stop? Now, bearing in mind, my chat out of everyone I know, pickup lines, it's fine. If it's as jokes and we're all just having banter, pickup lines, swears, the dirtiest jokes in the world, I don't mind it. But it's when it comes in a malicious way, I'm like, please stop. Like, you don't need that here. But I'm quite lucky in the sense of like, I don't get that. But I think it is like, I do. If someone says something to me, I go straight back at them and I'm like, sit down. I'm not taking it. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll just leave her be.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I feel like when someone follows you and it's sort of in context, I think context is the main word here. Like if someone is a follower of your Twitch stream and they sort of know the banter that they're getting into, it's sort of almost like having the jokes behind closed doors that you would have with your friends.
Exactly.
But then if you're ripping into one of your mates and then somebody else makes the same joke from outside that circle, it's different, isn't it? It's like you probably go after that person for the same.
Yeah, no. So it's like the other day I was raided by some new people, never met them before. I was like, oh, okay, this is nice. And they saw that the jokes and the banter was, we were kind of throwing pickup lines around and we were kind of being a bit dirty and like whatever. And it was like, okay, cool. And they genuinely were like, is it okay if we throw some pickup lines in chat? And I was like, go for it. So they felt comfortable enough. They asked, and I appreciated that. But if someone's coming in like, give me your snap, and I'm taking it as a joke, and I'm like, haha, no, and then they start getting malicious, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want this here.
But don't like Twitch streams and things like, I don't know, do you have like mods in your chat that'll just sort of
Yeah.
kick out people that are being dicks and things?
So with me, my modding is very funny. If one day I will send you a screenshot of my mod actions, it's hilarious. We accept practically everything unless it's racist or really, really horrible and bad and it's a malicious thing, we won't accept it. What I know, you know what I noticed actually about streaming, and I noticed this last year when I first started streaming, there were certain words and certain things that as a normal person you accidentally just say, but when you learn like you can't say them on Twitch and how bad they actually are, you genuinely sit down and like reflect on yourself like, damn, I need to stop this. Like that
Yeah.
was one thing that was different about stream. Like no, like with my mods, either some of them are playing or they're at work. So honestly, I'm just like, do I just mod my chat? No, I'm joking, but like my mods are really good. They're really, really good people.
Because
And like
sorry, go on.
and like they're all my friends. Like, so there's this thing we call the boys chat, like we sit in it daily. It's literally just me, another girl, and all our boyfriends, well, guy friends. Wow, that sounded mad. And like most of them are mods and they're just really good. Like they'll just be there, do things without me even asking, so it's amazing.
Fair enough, yeah, fair enough. Because I knew there was sort of some sort of like moderation of
Yeah.
that. So I don't know to the extent, because I'm pretty sure everyone has their own sort of mods and can sort of control most of that stuff themselves, which is good because obviously you don't want some hateful shit coming your way. Like we'll probably touch on it a bit later, because I feel like perhaps it'll probably happen more on TikTok than it will on Twitch, because of the nature of the
Yeah.
platform. But when you did start streaming on Twitch, obviously you said it was for your uni project, and then you sort of got into it a bit more. Like you didn't really have any equipment and things. It was quite. You've recently just
We're
got a
still
mic.
really scuffed. We're still very scuffed over here. We have a PS5, a PS4. We've got the cameras for them too. We've got this beautiful mic, courtesy of
Yeah.
my beautiful followers who freaking donate. Like, they're crazy sometimes. I'm just like, please stop. And then a ring light. That's all we've got. We're saving up for a PC, so hopefully we get a PC. And I am working on a way of getting my Mac to work with my friend's Elgato he sent me for free. I was like, it's like 180 quid, my guy, let me pay. And he was like, no. And I was like, oh my God. So I've got an Elgato, I've got the Mac. We're gonna see if that works tomorrow. And if it works, I'll get overlays and then we'll be streaming off the Mac for now.
So, would you still advise people to do it that way though? Because like, I've got one mate who is about to stream, but it literally he's like, I want everything perfect. He's got his PC, he's got his monitors. He's literally. I think he could have started like months ago, but he's waiting
Yeah.
for like a new desk because he wants it to be all set up nice and perfectly. Would you?
Honestly, it's a good way of going about it, don't get me wrong. Like, if you can afford it, or if you've got the space, go that way, because it means from day one everyone's getting the best quality possible.
Yeah.
But as someone who went from PS4 to PS5 to slowly upgrading, it feels nicer because it's like everyone sees that transition, and it's kind of just more, it's more like, okay, they can see where their donations and stuff are going. So like with my stream, I know it sounds so, my friends really cussed me out for this. I was like, oh my God, boys, I got a USB hub. Now, like, come on, it's like a 15 quid thing. Like, who really gets excited over a USB hub? And I was so excited for some odd reason. But it shows like your stream, you are genuinely taking what they're giving you, either saving it for something bigger, or you're putting it back into it. And I think they like that, because it's not like oh, she's here for the money, she's pocketing it. No, I'm here to make friends, enjoy it, and give you a better stream. So like the mic upgrade, it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, everyone, we've got a mic. And the person who donated for it, I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And he was like, you don't need to say thank you. And I was like, no, it genuinely meant a lot, because I wouldn't get the mic upgrade if it wasn't for you. So it's kind of nice to like show your stream that, you know what, it isn't all just about the money. It's about I want to give you the best content and show you that I'm actually putting it back into here.
But I also think like so the first podcast I did was fucking atrocious, if I'm honest with you. Like looking back on it, the guest was amazing,
Yeah.
and his words are actually like reflected that. He was like, everyone should just start. Like if you're being creative, just start, figure it out on the way. And that's exactly what I did. Like I didn't have a mic for maybe 5 or 6 episodes. Mic quality went from shit to half decent, I guess, and things like that. And like, and for Twitch especially, from what I've heard from other people who have started, your first few streams aren't going to run smoothly. Something's bound to go wrong. Like
There's always something going wrong with mine, for example. Like, I don't know why this is an achievement in my streams nowadays. So when you stream off your PS5, it gives you a little box to select that it's perfect and you want it there. If my background is exactly in line with that box, happiest day of my life, no cap. But like, you don't need to be perfect. If you can be, great. That gives you a head start slightly, because people will come in and they'll be like, oh, looks really professional, let's stick around. If you can't, honestly, there's nothing wrong with it, because like you can show your growth then, and like people are there with you in the journey.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I like. That's what I was in. I was just like you, because he's actually like really fucking good at games, to be fair. Like he can win like tournaments and things like that. So he's like really high quality, but you just won't stream because everything's perfect. And I'm just like, yo, just start, and then as it grows, you can get all the kinks out of the way, and you can improve in that way. So speaking about that, so when you explain like obviously I know what Twitch streaming is and things like that, or not everybody does. Like if you try to explain to my parents, for example, they call this podcast a broadcast. And I'm like,
that's
safe,
adorable.
safe, yeah.
Like, hey, as long as you get it, it's fine.
Exactly. But when the way that I sort of explain it is when people watch other people game, because that's the big question you get is like, why would you watch another person play video games when you could just do it yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
The way that I explain it is there's two categories, but it's like in a Venn diagram, there can be overlap. Is one is somebody is absolutely amazing at playing that video game. They are the best of the best. They win tournaments, etc. Just like I would watch Cristiano Ronaldo play football.
Yep.
The other side is this person is absolutely fucking hilarious, or is just overall a good entertainer, like Kevin Hart or something. Yeah. So there's your two Venn diagrams, and then the overlap would be a person who's absolutely incredible at the game yet entertaining, and they're the ones who are like the special gems, like your ninjas who fucking just go ape shit and go absolutely like and make the most money.
Definitely agree with that.
Where would you fit in that Venn diagram?
Right, I'm not the best at the game, but I'm not the worst. No, I did go through a phase of being really bad because obviously final year of uni, needed to like get my head down. I've started getting better at the game again. I won't lie, I'm not the best, but I have started getting better. I would say I'm like, if this is the Venn diagram, I'm like here in the middle, but like I'm not the best at the game, but I'm not the worst. Like there are good, like what, we got 3 wins yesterday, we got 3 wins last stream. That's a decent stream for me, but
But are you getting carried in them wins? Because it's very easy to say you're winning.
Yesterday I got carried, the day before I didn't.
Okay.
If I'm playing with my friends, like for example, Kenny, Shep, who else? Garth, Obi, them guys, they will carry me because their KD is over 1. Some of them are like nearly at 2 KD. Like their KD is stupid high. My KD is obviously a lot lower because I meme streamed for a solid while I was in uni. I was like, I need to meme, I just need to chill, and then I'll get back to the game. But like if I'm playing with my friends like Sand, Trap, and them, we genuinely try and play the game, but we want to have a laugh as well. And that's always been the case. Like I've never been someone who can sit there while on stream and be silent. Like there might be certain games where I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I will read chat in a sec, but I want to keep them entertained and I want to keep them laughing because like for me, at the end of the day, someone's coming to my stream after a long day at work maybe, or after uni, or maybe having a stressful like home life. Like I want to make them laugh and smile. Like that's all I want to do.
Yeah, so like it's more like on the entertainment side than okay, fair enough, yeah. Which I think, to be fair, I think more people will probably fall into that category because there's only a certain amount of people that can be the best at that game.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, and it's so hard. Like, obviously, like with FIFA and things, that you get like a top 100 leaderboard. If you're not in that top 10, nobody's watching you. Well, people will watch you, but it's probably because more entertainment side of things. Do you know what I mean?
And even like if you're the best gamer, if you're not providing the entertainment or even the conversation, sometimes people aren't going to watch. I've noticed, like, and that's personal, like noticing other games, not even COD, noticing other people's streams. Like you could be really good at the game, but if you're not sitting there having a conversation with your stream or entertaining them or providing them something, few people will watch sometimes. And it's not fair at the end of the day. It really isn't.
See, I think, I agree with that because I feel like more people do come for entertainment, but I feel like if you are the best at the game, you could literally be a brick wall and people will still come just because they want to see what is this guy doing, which which I can incorporate in my game. Like, honestly, but obviously, like there's a lot of gamers on TikTok and things that upload like little in this scenario, and like other people would break down the pro gamers plays, like if they like use this wall for cover, slide at this moment, X, Y, and Z, which is like obviously really interesting. Speaking of TikTok, obviously you're big on that as well, and you said you mentioned previously like that you basically just started it to grow your Twitch.
No, okay. No, it was never a Twitch thing. So with me, I used to have an old Instagram account, which was Amkbhamra. Now my Instagram is This Is Amkbhamra, which is cool, whatever. But that account hit 10K and I was like, oh, yay, fun. It got wrongfully deleted. Never got it back. And I was like, okay, what the hell? So for a whole year, I chilled. I didn't really do social media. I didn't touch social media for a year. And then one morning, randomly woke up and recorded the most random TikTok ever. It got like 4,000 likes. And I was like, damn, okay, this could be for me. So I started recording TikToks. And then it just went from there. And I was enjoying it because I think it sounds vain, but I like being in front of a camera. It sounds so vain, but I feel like I shine more in front of a camera. Like I can't just sit back and just do nothing.
Yeah.
So I've always been a content person. It's just always been me. So I started recording TikToks and like, yeah, if you go back to my first few, they aren't the best or they don't have the most likes or whatever, but I just kept going at it. And then now we're on like 50K and I'm like, why is this a thing?
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, obviously, I've been messaging you for advice on TikTok
Yeah.
previously, so getting some tips from the expert, and it's weird because certain things just pop off. Like, I like boxing. I've had a few boxing guests on, and when I started getting boxing guests on, I started posting like knockouts that I remember, like my favorite knockouts through history and things like that, and like the first knockout that I put when like TikTok automatically just puts the music on and automatically
Yeah.
puts all the shots correctly, so the hit was in perfect time with the beat drop, and it was like 70,000-80,000 views. I was like, holy shit. Like, and I'm posting podcast clips up until this point, which are getting like a few hundred, maybe 1,000 if I'm lucky, and then that gets 70,000-80,000. I'm like, wow, maybe I should post a few more of these. So I post a few more, and then on 250,000 views, man. I'm like, what the? I don't understand the TikTok. And they're all using the same beat. They're all basically the same video. They've all got the same hashtags, but that one for some reason just went ape shit. I've started trying to flex about a bit more now, like of trying to get more of like a dissy audience, obviously, because a lot of this podcast is a bit more dissy. So I've started doing things with like music and like obviously a lot of Punjabi music samples Western music, so showing like, because that was a big thing with it. Have you seen like the DJ who's like so I did a bit of that.
It's a cool aspect of TikTok, I'd say. It's nice to use their sounds
and just flexing about with different ideas, and you do get a bit of audience. Like it is just interesting. But what I found, and I don't know if this is the same with you, like we were speaking about before, context. So a lot of people who, and I repost a lot of my TikToks on Instagram as reels as well. And it's similar, because if on a main feed post on Instagram, for example, where it's basically to the followers that follow you, there's context of what this post is about, in a wider context sort of thing. Whereas on TikTok and reels, because it gets pushed out to an algorithm to random people, they only see that one thing, and then that's where all the hate comes from, or sometimes. So I don't think I've received any hate other than on a TikTok or a reel, and it's a weird.
That's good.
Yeah, no,
that's lucky.
It's not bad. It's not horrible, I guess. But when it does come and it comes out of the blue, it's a bit weird, and it like takes you aback a bit. Obviously, a lot of your TikToks will be reaching a lot more people than me. I think 11-12 million views or some shit that you said that you've got on your hashtag of your name.
It's 11.3 now, and I've only been using that since November or December, because I don't know if you know him. Do you know his name used to be JJ Yard originally on TikTok? He has a little dog called Laddu. Adorable. I love him. I call him Baji. But he was like,
the dog or the geezer?
Well, I love the geezer, but the dog's cute. I'm not gonna lie. Like Lindu is an adorable dog. But like he was like, use your own hashtag. I was like, okay, cool. Started doing it, playing around with it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Hate on TikTok though. Oh, the most beautiful keyboard warriors I've ever seen. That's all I can say for them.
It's weird though, because like I'll engage, because I'm just like, if you're commenting, that means the video's playing for longer and it's pushing out to more people, which is beneficial for me.
I didn't think of that originally. So when I used to get hate, I'd be like, oh, screw this, delete. Recently, I'll sit there and have a conversation with them, and I'll be like, okay, let's talk, and then they'll start to say certain things, and I'll just be like, you're really bugging me. And some of my comments are just, thank you so much for this beautiful comment. I love how you give me more engagement. And they're just like, what the hell's wrong with her?
I did the same, to be fair. I'll reply and they'll be like, why the fuck are you still replying? I'm like,
They're like, why are you
literally,
trying to have this
it's just for
conversation?
my engagement. Like, you could be slagging me off, yeah, and I keep on replying to the point where the hate comment person is saying, why are you still engaged with me? I'm just like, because it's good for my engagement. I'm trying to grow.
Like, no, like, think about it. TikTok apparently has this thing now. I don't know if this is correct, but it's like, if your video is 7 seconds, it will push it. Okay, cool. Not all of the videos can be 7 seconds, but it's how long the video is watched. Okay, cool. If I'm getting you to click back on the video, have to re-watch it technically to write out your keyboard warrior message, hey, it's just benefiting me at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So it's fine.
yeah. Exactly. That's how I see it. But obviously, with like, it seems like you've got this like sort of down. It doesn't really affect you too much. But obviously, with like mental health and social media and things, is it sometimes hard because these people don't know you are engaging in comments and sort of you have to justify yourself sometimes. And
The hardest one I've dealt with to date on social media was when someone took a screenshot of my friend's TikTok. It wasn't mine, it was my friend's, and they were like, take your gun off, you're doing this is so bad. And it was something along those lines, and it was posted on Instagram. Now she was very upset. She came to me, she told me. I tried to deal with it as much as I could, and then me being me, I was like, you know what, no, we're not stopping it here. I went and made that TikTok, and I literally captioned it, get triggered if you want, or something along those lines, or like posting it on purpose. And then they reposted mine on their Instagram, like, oh my God, she did this on purpose to trigger everyone. And I was like, no, I did it because guess what? Just because I'm brown, just because I'm a Sikh, doesn't mean I can't do a trend. That's dumb. Then I did another TikTok and they started being very racist about that one. And I literally credited the person who had made the original TikTok. And I thought, why are you hating on me when someone else has also done that? And it's just, the hate is really disgusting because they start saying the most vile things. And you sit there and you genuinely think, wow, this is your mentality. This is what you've grown up with. And that's disgusting to me. I was just like, I've never thought people's opinions could be disgusting, but like when they fully rip into your family for no reason, or rip into another religion, or start becoming racist, or start questioning your religion, that's when I'm like, wow, you really have the worst mentality possible. So the worst is probably when it happened on Instagram. And I did get angry when the second one was done to me. My friends saw me get angry, but then it was like what, 30 minutes of anger, and then me just being like, and it sounds really bad, but I was like, any PR's PR, it's fine. And I think that's the easiest way of getting past it, thinking any publicity is publicity, let's be honest.
yeah, plus these people don't know you, and I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
Was like, there's got to be something very fucked up in their lives for them to say the shit that they do on
exactly.
social media. Like, you get all sorts, but that's how I see it as well. As like, it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of them, whatever they're commenting.
No, agreed. It's like, so the most recent one was, I wore a specific top and this woman said, oh, this is really disgusting, you shouldn't be wearing clothes like this. And I said, I didn't ask for your opinion. Now that's not me being rude. I didn't tell her to go fuck herself or anything. I said, I didn't ask for your opinion. And then she started commenting something really dirty and I just deleted all her comments. So she screenshot it and she posted a TikTok about it. Mate, you're just trying to get views off my face. Cool, enjoy. But I was there like, why can you not, like, okay, let's say I disagree with something you say and we have a discussion about it. That's fine. But then forcing your opinion on me and then degrading me, that's not right for any reason. And I feel like people on social media forget we're actually people. I think I've noticed that they forget your people. What they think is, this is a video, this is a person who they don't really think is a human, who doesn't have feelings. Let's go at it.
It's
And
an
it's kind
object
of
on a
like,
screen.
it's an object on a screen to them. But then it's like, if someone said that to you, to your face, you would be in tears, mate. Just because I'm not in tears doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
that's really disgusting about social media. It's the one thing that will annoy me about social media forever.
Yeah, it is really bad, and I think people sort of, I don't understand it, because it's like, I think if you're raised correctly, I want to say normally, but I don't know what normal is
To us,
nowadays.
to us,
Because
what we grew up with is normal, but to them, what they grew up with is normal. And it's
exactly, so
like,
like, but then that's why I don't want to use the word normal, because it could be taken differently. Like, for me, I don't. The only times I'll have a comment on something if it's positive, like if
yeah.
I'm like, oh, congratulations or something, but I'll never sort of comment or on anything I don't like. There's no
Like,
point.
I could see something and I could disagree with it, or I could not like it personally. It doesn't mean I need to comment on it.
Exactly.
But like, when I see people getting hate for no reason on social media, I will comment on that and be like, no, I disagree. Why are you getting this hate or whatever? So I remember there was this one TikToker and he was gay and he was getting a lot of hate. And I just in general commented on it, like, my guy, do what you're doing, you're stunning or something. And then he followed me and it was really cute and adorable. And I was like, okay, cool. But someone else is probably sitting there thinking, oh, let me hate on him
Mm.
because he's gay. And it's like, but
Plus, I
why?
think especially with that app specifically, is a lot of the audience, a lot of the people typing seem to be extremely young, like extremely young, like not.
Either it's extremely young or extremely old,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
noticed.
So it's either people that are old fashioned, or where, like, and so you sort of alluded to it before, of words that you say but you don't really know the repercussions. So like the things that
They're
you have to,
uneducated on those
yeah,
specific things.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to say any of the terms, because obviously then I don't
exactly.
want to. Yeah, like, but like they'll say like homophobic shit that you'll probably say at school, and until you leave school, you don't
Exactly.
realize, oh shit, you're not allowed to say that shit,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
And
It's
like
like
that
the
happens so much.
homophobicness, the racistness, the straight up just disrespect at times. I'm like,
But
it
when there's
takes
no
you aback.
consequences, you just feel like, oh, it's fine, I can keep on doing it. Like, one of the ones, and I don't think, like, I didn't think of it when I was doing it, but one of the
Mm,
ones that sort of got quite a lot of traction for me, and the reason it got traction was because there was so many hate comments. Well, not hate comments, but basically, I put what people think indie music sounds like, and it was that video of the guy in the back of the car, the
yeah,
white
yeah,
guy going ding 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 ding, and it's
yeah, yeah,
obviously it's a piss take in it, but then what it actually sounds like, and it was like a Sid the Musiala track, so it was quite
yeah,
gangstery
exactly.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it was like trying to get rid of stereotypes. But because I wrote what people think Indian music sounds like, Punjabi TikTok came after me from when I'm
Punjabi
saying
TikTok
this.
will come after you.
And they came
Punjabi
after me
TikTok
thinking,
comes after me for being Punjabi.
exactly. So it was like, we're not, this isn't Indian music, this is Punjabi and all this. And then obviously all of the Indian people who aren't from Punjab were like, they're fighting themselves in the comments. And it's great for me because the videos just
She's
get
like,
more
thank you
views
for the
and yeah.
engagement.
But then there's some people who would just like take it a bit too far, like, and they ended up fighting with each other because the Punjabi spelling between Panj to Punj. I'm like, you're both on the same side, but now you're fighting. It's like a sub argument.
Who
It's
cares about how you spell it? It's the same thing.
but it's crazy with like, but that's what I was saying before, it's not in context. They're saying this
Yeah,
one video that's taken out of the wider thing, saying like, oh, you're not a proud Punjabi, otherwise you wouldn't have said this, and
yeah,
saying that Punjabi music's from India. I'm like, fam, look at my link in my bio as a podcast where I've been speaking to
exactly.
Punjabi people trying to promote and highlight their achievements. Yeah. And one of the geezers was going back and forth with me, going like, nah, I ain't gonna ever listen to your podcast. You don't know jack shit. You're like, and all
Yeah.
this. I'm like, what the hell? You just can't win with some people doing it.
It's like the cast thing now. I've brought up the cast doing a minimum of 3 times on my TikTok now. Because I have always been someone who likes highlighting on things.
Mm-hmm.
And the cast thing is very predominant on TikTok. Now, obviously I know what cast I am. I don't care. Because cast isn't something you're supposed to believe as a Sikh. But people will come up to me on my TikTok lives, in my TikTok comments, and be like, oh, it's because you're not a Jat that you say this. I don't care. Because if we're really going down to the boiled bottom of it, a few of my cousins are married to Jats. Hence, my nieces and nephews are Jat. Do I just not talk to them? Is that what we like? I fully said that to one of them. I was like, do you just not want me to talk to them? Like, please let me know. And they were like, no, I didn't say that. And I was like, no, but that's what you're saying. And it's just dumb. It's just a straight, it's like they have their mindset and they just go full forth, and it's like you realize you're repeating yourself and just not making sense anymore, my guy.
That one's a sticky one. I have this conversation like a lot, and I feel like it's good to be proud of where you come from.
Yes.
Proud of your origins.
Yes.
Like, I have farming roots in India. I'll put it in that term, and I'm very proud of that, because that is hard work, as we see with the farmers' protest. Everyone 100%. Is very passionate of their background. It's very fine to be proud of where you come from, as long as it's not to the detriment of somebody else.
And that's what I say to people. I'm like, if you are, for example, I'm a Turkan. If you want to be proud of that, go ahead.
Yeah. But not to the detriment of somebody else.
Don't start disrespecting others for it.
Yeah.
And for me, like, in Sikhism, you're not supposed to believe in caste. Knowing what you are is fine. I think knowing your roots, knowing your heritage, knowing everything about what makes you, perfectly fine. But you don't need to sit there and be ignorant about it, is what I think at the end of the day.
Controversial topic.
It's a controversial,
So we'll do some awkward transition into how would you describe the content that you post on TikTok? And I think my angle.
The content I post on TikTok is hilarious, because it goes from Punjabi to innocent to just messed up, provocative, and it's just stuff that I want to post, because I've been on TikTok like, oh, I like this, I'll send it myself. So I go from a spectrum of Punjabi innocent good girl to provocative as hell sometimes, and it's like, what just happened here?
I haven't seen many of the former, but I've definitely seen a lot of the latter, because when you're scrolling through the feed, the ones with 10K plus views are normally the latter.
I can't help it.
It does work. And that's a question that I sort of want to ask is it something you lean into because it's good for growth? Like, to be, like, obviously in our community, people don't really talk about taboo topics like relationships and sex and things like this. So is it uses like shock tactics of like, okay, I can grow from this? Or is it these things do happen, but people don't talk about it, so maybe let's just
It's mainly me putting out things that happen that, like, so with me, I've never been about shock value, because on TikTok it doesn't work. On TikTok, what works is the timing you're posting, the hashtags you're using, the sounds you're using. I've noticed it's never, because I've had this at one point where I posted a video, I didn't like what time I posted it, I deleted it, I reposted it. The difference in the timings that I posted made that video go from dead to blow up. When the provocative stuff comes, honestly, it was mainly just that is how my Twitch is. It's like when people are like, oh, you're all talk. No, because if you come to my Twitch, you'll see we will have those, as people find it taboo, inappropriate conversations. But like, that's just who I am. It's like being around the boys always make inappropriate jokes. It's just how they are. So for me, it was never shock value. When I woke up and my TikTok had blown up, the one where it was like, it was something to do with sex or something along those lines. I was like, how did this happen then? I was really confused. And since then, it hasn't happened again. And I was like, okay. But it's like me having tattoos. People find that very weird. And they're like, oh, why have you got tattoos? I've recently got a piercing. People are going to be like, oh, she's got a piercing. Oh, okay. It's like any move I make or anything I do or anything I wear even, people are like, oh my God. And it's just who I am. It's not like I'm going out to buy this provocative top or to get a fake piercing or a fake tattoo. Like, no, it's just who I am. And I'm just always authentic. And I don't think people understand that our generation is just a lot more chill about these things.
Yeah, it is weird because like that's something that I've seen that people can exploit it. So where like obviously they can do certain things to work to their advantage because shock tactics and things do work for growth and etc. But that's why I want to ask, because a lot of your content isn't that extreme.
Yeah.
Like the way that I'm saying, like people use shock tactics, it's not that far. But like obviously most of it is just the captions. Do you know what I mean? You're dancing in all of them, just wearing whatever, and it's mainly the captions that sort of differ the innocent to the provocative to the gaming to the relationships or whatever topic of conversation it is. So it is really interesting. But a thing that you just mentioned there was the sort of timings and things. Are you really into like data and analytics then? Do you check like...
So I was always a data analytics person on my old Instagram. That really did heavily transfer over to my Twitch and my TikTok. So I haven't checked it today actually, but every day I will check my data. I will be like, right, so today I only got 80k views on the whole of my page. Okay, what happened this day? Today I got 100k views. Okay, what did I post? What time did I post? Da, 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 da. I'll look at how many followers I got. And it sounds weird, but I've noticed the days you post and then let's say an hour later go TikTok live, your followers will boost. It works. It's a thing that I do because I was always a person who went TikTok live, Twitch, TikTok live. I still do that, but I did notice, yes, the followers will boost from it. And even if it's not getting 1 million followers from the live, it's your account, or at least for me, my account is getting boosted at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. So I've always been a data person, especially because I did business management and we have to data analyze. Oh my God, I can't even English today. That's another thing. I can never English, hence why I speak so much Punjabi. But no, I always data analyze a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting because like when I look at certain, I only looked at like the ones that the post that did good, like the one that got like 250,000 or whatever. I go into it, but that shit changes every week because it shows you like within the past 7 days which audience or whatever where it's going, and then like every week it's getting pushed into like different territories in the world, which I always thought was really like, I'd check one day and it's in South Africa.
Yeah,
and then,
I look at mine, I'm like, why are Italians watching this? Like, I don't get this, but thank you.
I think it's because, from my understanding, is if it does good in one region, then it boosts it into another region, see how it does there, and then boost it into another. Because mine went from like South Africa to like Russia to South America and things like that. But it is interesting. So when you do posting and things, I'm guessing you will post at times where your audience is most active then.
I don't look at the times anymore. I used to. There used to be this little grid that I found on the internet. I was like, okay, I'll go by these times. Now I've noticed if I post, I'm going to say after 12/1 up to about 8, however many I want to post in that time, it will be a hit and miss. It really depends. 7 p.m., 6 p.m. is usually really good for me personally. But like off the top of my head, my followers are more active at like 10 p.m. So timing wise, I know early in the morning isn't working for me anymore. And that's what used to work back in the day. Now it's more afternoon, evening. But like if I, for example, wanted to post at like 5:51, sounds like a really random time, I'll post. I won't mind that anymore. But back in the day, I would be very, need to post at 3 p.m, needs to post at 8 a.m, need to post at this time. Like it really depends. I think it's when your account gets slightly bigger, you have that more leeway of doing what you want.
I'll be big shot. No need to plug in like somewhere.
See, this is what my friend said. I'm like, I'm not a big shot though.
The reason I ask is I don't even think so half of the listeners will care about this topic, but it's more just for personal intrigue.
Yeah.
More than else. Do you know what I mean? This is me having notes afterwards.
You're like, right, let me write my notes down.
Exactly, because it is fascinating. But the numbers that you said there, it's sometimes do you find it's hard to fathom some of the numbers though, like 1 point however many 11 million views or whatever you said before, 11.3, sorry. It's hard to fathom that amount of people have watched your content. Have you ever thought of like how many people 11 million people is?
Honestly, no. I just kind of like, okay, that happened. So it's like, if I go on my analytics right this second from yesterday, which I haven't checked, this week in general, I've been doing less. So in 7 days, I've got 537k views, which is 209 less than the previous 7 days. I will look at that and be like, oh, that's bad. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a lot of humans.
Yeah.
And I feel like slowly, and And it is a personal issue. I think maybe loads of like other TikTokers have this. When you look at your own analytics, you start realizing how big of a number that is. You think, oh, that's small, that's not good for me for that day, I could have done better. You genuinely sit there and think that. But in comparison to like one of my friends who has less followers, they'll probably sit there and think that was a really successful week. But I won't look at the top number. I'll look at the 209k views missing from last week. Right, I need to somehow get that back up.
Yeah, it's always just trying to increase that number regardless. But it's relative. Like, is when you get bigger, obviously that number's gonna get bigger, and you just want to keep on pushing it forward, which is it's a mental fucking thing, to be honest. Like, when you think of them numbers, it's just unfathomable. I put it into context of football stadiums.
Yeah.
So like Newcastle Stadium is well known to be like a very good atmosphere. You said around 500,000 views there. Yeah, so that's 10 St. James's Parks. Do you know what I mean? And if
I did not think of it like that.
I think of things like that just because it's the easiest way to put in perspective online views and numbers. Because now 1 million views here, a fucking billion views there, or whatever it is, it's people become numb to it, and you don't want that situation where you end up getting more and more extreme to push that number forward and forward and forward.
Agreed.
To like, and you need that reality check. But a thing that I was going to say that might be a good reality check is the platforms that you're on that I sort of alluded to earlier are polar opposites in that sense. TikTok is a place where the numbers are astronomical, whereas respectfully, Twitch is somewhere that the numbers are very small. So do you think that helped?
With Twitch, for example, now I've just told you I've got 500k views, and to me that sounds like a dingy number. On Twitch, overall, I have 12k views. That blows my mind. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? That is so many numbers. But the comparison between the two numbers is like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why am I so excited over the Twitch over the thing? And it's like, it's mad because like I will look at that 1,000 followers on Twitch and be like, oh my God, like seriously, how did this happen? But I now look at the 51k and I'm like, how do I get that to 61k?
Mm-hmm.
It's the happiness of Twitch or over the continue to push on TikTok, and you do really become numb. You do really become numb.
So it doesn't matter what the number is. It's just how do I get it higher? So like it could be 500,000 on TikTok and 100 average viewers or whatever on Twitch. How do I get that 100 to 101? How do I get that 5? Right, okay.
But it's not in a narcissistic way where it's like I need all the attention on me. It's more of a, how do I push content out that people will enjoy and make them laugh and make their day better? Because I know for a fact if I'm having a crap day, I will jump on TikTok or I will jump on YouTube. And like, for example, growing up as a brown kid, I watched Just Rain, aka Superwoman. We all did, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Hamza Productions, I will still go back and watch his videos.
Diary of a Madman.
Beautiful. Yeah. Diary of a Madman is the best thing in the world. But like, I will go back and that's what used to cheer me up. And I'm like, how do I provide that for someone else?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. It's just, when you see fucking online numbers, it's just unfathomable. But it does make sense because all you're basically bothered about is personal growth. And that's what anybody who is successful is going to be bothered about. But I feel like, because the reason I ask it is, you know, at Logan Paul, I've used this example so many times on the podcast before, but the suicide forest. Yeah, to get to that point where the numbers are that astronomical and it becomes a business and you become numb to the numbers to the point where you do something that will get you cancelled and generally just ethically and morally wrong. And that's where like my fear comes into it with numbers. And I know obviously like this podcast is all fairly small and things, but you never know what happens.
Exactly. I assume it will blow up. It's a good podcast, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you ask good questions. I'm sitting here like, I want to listen back to this. Like, damn, I'm interested. I said.
Oh, I'm blushing. But it's that thing. I don't know if it's just because I deep things too much, but numbers, analytics always fascinate me in that sense.
I feel like my fear is I'm already quite numb in the sense of like, if you say something to me or if I see something, I can 99.9% of the time be completely blank and act very normal to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite a scary thing where it's like how numb am I actually? Because like I remember one of my followers came into my Twitch stream and was like, something in the family happened and he was quite upset. I didn't know how to react, not because I'm emotionless, because I was like, I'm streaming and I don't know how to provide what you want without seeming numb/harsh, because I'm a very harsh person. I've noticed like if my friend is going through something, I'll be there. But at some point I'll just give them tough love and I'll be like, look, mate, you need to like, and I've just always been that person. So I'm like, in the sense of like content, I don't think I could ever post anything which would hurt, offend, or do anything like that. Like I'm very cautious about that. I'm very like I make sure it's never crossing a line.
Intentionally. I think that's the important thing.
Intentionally, I don't ever want to cross a line. So I will never, for example, Logan Paul, what he did, I could never get to that point because that is fucked. That is like so fucked up.
But this is what I mean. I don't think he did that intentionally either. This is why I say intentionally, because you get to a certain point where you like, I watched one of his videos from around that time and it literally opens up with him breaking like a stack of plates. I'm thinking that for a normal person is extreme, but when you have this hyperactive ADHD young audience which need to be TikToks in a YouTube video, basically every 5-10 seconds needs to be big colors or booms, then it's very easy to go down that road.
Yeah, you will become really like numb to like very sensitive topics. Like it is mad because, for example, Jake Paul, I think what he does is very calculated.
Oh, he's very clever.
What Logan did was very
naive.
Out of numbness, naive, didn't realize what was happening, in my opinion, from what you can see from back there. Jake's very clever, and if you're clever about it, hey, fair play to you, but like as a normal person, I could never get that numb and be like, okay, well, this is what we're posting and it will probably blow up, and like who cares about the repercussion, because like it's a madness. Like you can't be doing those kind of things.
But you think that, but then if it's a very slow like you get, it's like tolerance, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like anything, like you'll slowly build up tolerance and you can slowly build up numbness. So you wouldn't be like that when he was first starting on Vine or whatever.
Oh yeah, of course.
But when you get a big team around you saying, well, last week we need to make up them 207,000 people that we didn't have on TikTok last week, how can we push that boat out a bit further to get
then you were just like, okay, I'll do whatever.
Which it's a mad conversation.
See, I'm really lucky with like who I'm surrounded by, because like in all honesty, I'm not big-headed about my numbers. Like to me, when my friends are like, oh, you're on 50K, I'm like, yeah. And it's like my friend made a joke. He was like, I get more followers off your TikTok lives than I do out of my own videos. And I was like, that's bloody brilliant, because then you're using my thing to grow you. I don't find anything wrong with that. But I'm very lucky because like back to like the USB hub thing, it's 15 quid. Why am I so excited? They're like, shut up, it's not even that deep. And I'm like, oh wow. And they're like, we're just humbling you now. Obviously it's a joke, but my friends and the people I'm around do keep me very, very humble. And like I've never been a big-headed person in general, but it's just good to be grounded by people like that who are just like, you might be getting the numbers, you might be doing good, but you do go through like little crap patches. Like my Twitch recently went through a bit of a crap patch and I was like, okay, it's fine, whatever. But like anyone else who was in like a narcissistic way would probably be like, okay, what do I do now to like blow up? It's like, as a joke, they're all like, oh, do a hot tub stream. And I'm like, I would never go to that. I would never go to that, my guy. And they were, like, the boys were like, let's all get in a hot tub together. Like the boys want to do it, and I'm just there like, I'll watch, I'll stand behind the camera, I'll read the chat, man, it's fine.
I don't know how that's allowed on Twitch. I genuinely don't.
I don't know. It's so bad.
It's a children's platform, basically. It promotes gaming, and then respectfully saying this here, it's just lasses with big tits in fucking water.
Like my friends at work, as a joke, were like, oh, if you ever did a hot tub stream, like, you know, everyone at work's watching. And I was like, I'm never doing that. I could never degrade myself to
well,
that.
this is it. That's where I think when I was speaking about the provocative content before, I think that's where like an argument can be made, and not like for yourself, but in the wider context of things, of where now it seems to the point where it's like views for idiot. Is it views for like respect? Like people will just morally chuck their shit out the window, but like, give me the bag. Do you know what I mean? And that's where it becomes a. That's why I wanted to ask the question in the first place, and I feel like that's why I couldn't ask it straight away. You have to sort of get into the conversation, know that I'm not a dickhead when I'm asking it, and sort of be like, look, because it's genuine intrigue when I see things work.
It's like if that's like, for example, with my clothes, I wear crop tops. I freaking say I wear crop tops, but the people judging me, I'm sorry, you're allowed to wear a sari blouse, I'm not allowed to wear a crop top. Explain the logic there to me. If I was butt ass naked on the internet, right, judge me all you want, but still that's my choice. Like, the thing is, for example, if you look at my Instagram, there is not one bikini pic. Now, obviously I've been on holidays, and obviously I'll wear a bikini on holidays, but and this is like a line that I will not cross, and my mom knows as well. Like, I turned around and said, oh mom, I've got like my little trousers on and like my bikini bra, can I post this picture? She was like, you know what, it's a fine picture, fine, but I will never fully post a bikini pic on the internet. No, that's crossing a line for me. That's crossing a line for my mom, for me, and my family doesn't want it and I don't want it. End of. But like, people are there like, oh, have you got an OnlyFans? And I'm like, no, but you wear a crop top. Please explain how a crop top's bad. Just please tell me that one.
I'm laughing, because as my next question's basically popped into my head.
Go on.
And we were talking about hate comments obviously before.
Yes.
Yeah, the polar opposite of that is like them sort of comments.
Yeah.
And freshies.
Oh, beautiful, fun, amazing. Thank you for calling me while I was out with my mom and my sister on frigging Facebook Messenger, my guy, is all I have to say to that one.
Days. Does it get bad, or is it just cringy? Like, do you entertain it?
It's cringe, it's bad. But it's funny because it gives me content for my Twitch and my TikTok. For example, people on my TikTok live will come in and put like pickup lines, and I'll be like, already heard that, give me a new one.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny, but it's really bad. Like, and I don't like using this line a lot, but it will come out and you'll see it in my comment section sometimes, that I turn around and will say, how would you feel if that was said to your mom, sister, daughter, or wife? And then they think, oh, but don't talk about my family like that. But then I'm sorry, you're sending the most disgusting, creepiest things to me, and I'm someone's daughter. So, and that's what I genuinely think. I'm like, you need to put yourself in a position before sending a dumb message like that to think, if this was someone I was related to, regardless how it is, even if it was your friend, how would you feel? Because
it goes back to that context, isn't it? It's context.
Like, I know my friends get so angry, some of them, when they see this, and they're like, they will fully like go in the comment section and be like, you need to pipe down and you need to stop. And I'm like, it's fine, don't worry. And they're like, no, we don't like it, because like they do say like the worst shit sometimes, and I'm like, I can't help it. And like, I've grown that really thick skin, but like, they get protective, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, like it's that fine line, isn't it? There's like playful banter, and then there's creep. It's the easiest way to say it.
Like,
it's just
my Twitch chat making these jokes. You know what? You know how my chat is. You've been here long enough. Fine. If I ever start feeling uncomfortable, I'll say it.
Yeah,
and if you don't stop at that point, it's weird. But like, with like the creeps in DMs, it's become a meme at this point. Like, when you're being memed, that's bad. Like, I had two people, one of them emailed me his mobile number, and I was like, what the hell? And the other one emailed me saying, hey, I would love to get to know you, and blah, 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 blah. Can I get your Snapchat? Then popped into my TikTok live and said, hi, so do you respond to your emails? And I was like, no. And I fully died. And like, one of my friends I told about this was there, and he was like, I died for you. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh my days.
Like, it gets bad.
as I've said on the podcast with Simran, and I sort of like I still stand by this, but it's like it is a lot easier at the moment growing on social media being a woman. I think it like
Oh, 100%.
you can sort of like accentuate certain characteristics that
Agreed.
obviously like men will just like attract to, but
Yeah, agreed.
me saying that as a guy, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, it's easy for you to just, but you don't see like that side of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's also ridiculously hard with more eyes and more exposure. Generally, you'll get more supportive people, but you will also get more people who are just like wrong-ins. Basically,
Agreed.
it's the easiest way. It's a hard balance, though, isn't it?
It's like being so with me, obviously, like my friends will make the jokes of, "Oh, you're big on TikTok. Oh, you're so famous. Oh, da, da, da." Like they do that, and I'm fine with them doing that. But like I will, and like no, like people on TikTok don't see this, but I will literally screen record some of my TikToks and send them and be like, "Do you think this is crossing the line? Do you think it's appropriate? What do you think? Tell me." And they will tell me. And these are the guys that I send it to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll send it to some of the girls, but I send it to the guys for a reason. One, because I need to know what they think. Two, that's a guy. My audience is filled with guys. Let's see what one of them will think, practically.
Yeah,
And if they're like, nah, I would change the wording or I would do this, I'd be like, okay, cool, thank you. Why, by the way? And then they'll explain it. I'm like, cool. So we look out for each other quite a lot in my little group that I'm in, where we're like, to kind of stop how much the guys go a bit crazy sometimes,
yeah.
I will get one of the boys to like check it, and like even them in my comments they'll make jokes like, we're so disappointed," and you'll be like, I know it's a joke. Behind closed doors, like they'll say what they say.
That's it, yeah. Honestly, like, I could have this conversation all day because I feel like it's so interesting because that the whole reason I did this podcast is to basically find out more about people and like their backgrounds and their
And
cultures. And
yeah,
I just am intrigued by human behavior, I guess you could call it. And on
yeah.
online, it's
Did you do psychology?
no, I did law.
You should have done psychology in college,
Um,
man. You would have
uh,
enjoyed it.
I probably would have, yeah, but that ain't doctor, lawyer, engineer in it, so it didn't fit into that category, fam.
I love that. It was like doctor, lawyer, engineer. I was like, it was doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? Business management is what we're going with.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think accountants in that group now as well, but
I really enjoyed law. I just physically couldn't have took it as a degree for some reason.
it
I
was
don't think I would have enjoyed it.
it was bad to be fair, and like
Mm.
it depends. It just depends. You have to figure out your interest. I remember first year the two modules that were running simultaneously were contract law and criminal law,
I
and
really enjoyed criminal. So I did law at GCSE and A level,
yeah,
and my sister's done law. I really like criminal law. I really find it fascinating. I just couldn't work in the profession.
literally about it. You could tell who came to uni for what reason. You could tell who watched CSI, and you could tell who watched
Yeah,
Suits. Do you know what I mean? And I was the Suits, so I liked property, commercial, but you could
yeah.
tell the people who liked criminal, family, and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, it's honestly, and like when you get guys commenting like that, I'm guessing you probably get girls commenting similarly as like not in a not in a I want to f you way, but more of like a
So
malicious way.
I will have. It's not a lot. I will be honest. I feel like girls on TikTok, and it's the one time I've seen it, are quite clever with what they do. If they have an opinion which someone wouldn't like, they don't put it out there. And
Okay, yeah,
honestly,
that's good.
that's better. Like, in my opinion, if you have an opinion which would hurt someone's feelings, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah,
But like, I will have girls who will be like, you shouldn't wear that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. And it's just so like, okay, you're really repetitive and just boring. And then you'll have that conversation with them. So one of the girls who did this, she was like, it went back to cast, and I was like, okay, cool. And then she just kept making a point, and I was just like, can you please say something like interesting to actually have a conversation? Because like this isn't a discussion right now. This is just you copying and pasting what you've said once. And it's irritating because I'm like, okay, if the guys are gonna hate, the girls should have each other's back, in my opinion.
hmm
And that's where it came back to like my friend getting that hate on Instagram. I had her back. I was gonna have her back at the end of the day.
it does seem though that like females are a lot more supportive on social media. Like especially that I went through a few of your comments of like in preparation for the podcast and stuff just to see
Mm.
what the vibes were like. And it seems like to put them into three categories, it was supportive, which is mainly female. Actually, I actually wrote this down as well. You know, um, I'm gonna say,
Let me hear this because I've never looked at this. So this is like a new piece of data for me.
as I say, I'm quite fascinated in human behavior and things. So it seemed like I summed it up in 3 types of supportive, in brackets, mainly females, but occasional males.
Occasional males, yes.
Occasional
Probably my
males.
friends, let's be honest.
Hate, just general hate,
Just
which
straight
is
up hate, yeah.
just, that can be both, to be fair. And then third, we've already covered, thirsty as fuck. I put thirsty AF, brackets, mainly dudes, of that mainly freshies.
Yep.
So
That sums up my comments so perfectly. I love it.
yeah, it is. But again, it's just interesting. As I say, I could talk about this shit all day because for me it's so interesting. But I'm very conscious of time. Okay. So before I go quickly, two more mini questions.
Yes.
You don't repost TikToks on Instagram.
No.
Why?
I don't know, but I feel like I find it more funny when like my friends, like work friends, general friends, anyone just sends me this and they're like, oh look, someone reposted your thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know why I've never reposted on Instagram.
I just
I
thought
just
that
never
was
thought Instagram would
fascinating.
like it.
I just thought it would be fascinating because it's another method of growing, and I
Oh,
feel like,
agreed. You know what I think it is with me? And I think this is a very personal thing. It's my old Instagram going, me not using it. I don't like Instagram as an app anymore. I don't trust it. I don't care for it because I'm like, after putting so much effort into it, it's taken away so quickly. What's the point? So I think mine is mainly I don't care for Instagram anymore after that scenario. Now, other people, obviously, it's really good for growth. And like, even mine, like, I'm on 3K followers and I don't do anything on it. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. That's all coming over from TikTok, let's be honest. But I think it is just I put so much effort into it for like a solid 4 to 5 years because I used to do skits on it as well. Like, very few people know. It's like, if you know me from my old Instagram, I used to put skits up on there. I would do photo shoots. I would do all this stuff. And I don't do any of that anymore because I'm like, I don't care for Insta.
But surely if you're already making the content for TikTok, it's very easy to just save, post it on there. It's another
It
method of
really
growth.
is. I think it's just lazy me.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know what your opinion of this is. I feel like there's a higher conversion percentage. So like, say if like you're looking at how many people can I direct to, for me, the podcast, for you, Twitch.
Yeah.
If it's 50,000 followers on TikTok and 5,000 followers on Instagram, I still feel like there's more people from Instagram who will actually go to the Twitch stream than the TikTok, even though it's 10 times the amount of people on there. So I don't know. I thought that was fascinating because obviously it is just like a method of growing. So
No, agreed.
maybe it's a tip for you. We can learn from each other.
There you go. Maybe you'll see me posting reels one day and be like, damn, took that tip from me.
Royalties. No, and the other one was YouTube.
Yes.
Do you YouTube?
I've done it before.
Okay.
I've been asked to do it again. I don't know if I do it.
As in like clip up streams and things and put it on there?
I noticed my generic, I'm on holiday or I've done my makeup, those ones did better than the GTA one I posted. I posted GTA one. Why did I post a GTA one? Well, I'm really questioning what I've been doing on the internet from now on. But no, I don't think it would be something I'd do just because I don't use that app for it anymore. And plus, when I was doing YouTube, I really wanted to go down the Just Rain, aka Superwoman vibe. Like, I've always been a skits person, and it never was that. And I was like, okay, whatever. I feel like TikTok is just what I throw everything on now. It's convenient. I like it because what I've noticed is I would rather sit and watch something for 60 seconds than 10 minutes.
100%. I feel like that's where things are going generally because people's attention spans are diminishing like there's no tomorrow, which
it's
is
like TikTok posting that thing where you can now post 3-minute videos.
Yeah.
Great idea. Also not the best idea though.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a good shout because not many people will. Although I learned today that the little red circle, the little circle at the bottom, you can actually adjust TikToks like in fast forward. I didn't know that until today. Yeah, which is dope.
I've never used it, but yeah, you can do that, and it's actually like, ooh, this is fun.
But the reason I ask is because you had the Instagram and it disappeared or deleted or whatever, and you don't want that to happen with TikTok. So is it not better to be spread across as many platforms to as high as a level. So if one disappears, you're not over reliant on, say, TikTok
No,
compared to.
it is a good point. It's the reason I'm so conscious with what I do on TikTok. So I've had TikTok live bans. I've had TikToks that have been deleted because they're really banned. TikTok live bans are the dumbest thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. I genuinely don't care for those because I'm like, are you being really serious? Like, I was wearing a black top and I got banned for nudity. I sat there and I was just like, honestly, at this point, social media is so dumb. But like, it is good to spread yourself. I just feel like with TikTok, and this is coming from like, I've seen this happen to people's accounts. If it gets deleted, as long as you have your however many TikToks you've posted already, just repost them and you'll grow again. It's a dumb app in the sense of how quick the growth can come in. You can literally go from 0 to like a K very quickly if you really try. And you can go from like 50K. You can be one of those TikTokers who are like on 50K, barely gets any likes, barely gets any views. Sometimes you get views. And then just stay at that point as well. It's really weird with how TikTok works. The algorithm is something I still can't figure out, and that really irritates me because I'm an algorithm person as well. I'm like, I need to know. But now it's one of those where I feel like if my TikTok ever went,
You're
I feel
confident
like
that
I'm
you'd.
so confident in my Twitch, how it's going already, that I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, cool, I'll start again or I'll just leave it and I'll just stick to Twitch.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's the part that I had questions about algorithms and things because I sort of hoped you were data driven because I'm a bit of a nerd myself. So it's an
Data
interesting.
driven just does not understand TikTok's algorithm. It's the dumbest
Yeah,
thing ever.
it is a weird one. It's something hard to suss because with algorithms, they're changing all the time as well, so it's hard to keep up to date with. But I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
I've took up way more time than I think I let on beforehand.
No,
But
it's fine. I was free until 8 p.m. anyway.
just before we wrap up, I ask every single every single guest, the same 5 questions. They're sort of like a nice way to round off the episode. So we'll jump into them. So the first one is, what are you most proud of?
Damn, what am I most proud of? I was an introvert. I wouldn't even pick up the phone call and speak to people. Now I can just put myself out there. So I think my confidence.
What are you most looking forward to?
Seeing where my Twitch goes. I really thoroughly love and enjoy that community so much. I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, I hope it grows more.
I hope so too. And what is your biggest motivation?
Biggest motivation. I'm one of those people who sets myself goals of other people that I want to beat and achieve, not in a malicious way, more of a I look up to them and I want to beat them. So that's my motivation, just other people practically, and just making the people like my friends proud because they're very invested in seeing me grow as well.
What is your definition of success?
Success, making people happy and making people smile. It's not, I'm a numbers person, I agree, but if I can genuinely make someone happy and someone's smiling, someone's day a little better than it is, that's a successful day for me.
Smashed it. And last but not least, because it's the KultureKast podcast, how has your culture affected you in your journey thus far?
Bro, loud, proud, and Punjabi always. That's the way you sum that up.
Smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. That's sick. Again, all of your links and things to Twitch, Insta, Twitter, TikTok, all of that banter will be left in the description, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever.